Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so good to be back here with you today. You guys, I say this in true sincerity. I love all of you guys. I do because yesterday I had a really tough day. And I didn't put out probably the happiest video. But you guys accepted me just as I was and heard what I had to say and were really supportive. And I want to say thank you. And if you didn't see yesterday's video, it was a little intense, but I spoke words of truth. What's ironic is that for all the support I got, I did get a few letters sent to me privately. People told me that they were offended by my video yesterday. Not that they were offended by what was happening to me, they were offended by me. They said that I was political and I was inappropriate to share political views, and I triggered them and they were traumatized by my political action, and that they unsubscribed from my channel. Well, you know what I got to say that? You obviously need to man up a little bit. Sorry. If my video caused you that much trauma, I would understand if you said you were traumatized by seeing me being attacked and maligned by powers that be. But you weren't offended by that. You were offended that I spoke against it. That's very interesting. And I just say you got to man up. If my video triggers you, you need a testosterone injection. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about it. These letters were from people who were supporters of communism. I'll tell you, I'm not a supporter of communism. I'm a capitalist. I run a free enterprise business, and I think we should have freedom to make money and have our free speech. That's how I feel about it. Anyways, enough of that. So yeah, I was being political again, but y'all can handle it. And if you can't, then this ain't your channel. Anyways, no, seriously, guys, you guys were great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we're just going to ignore the detractors, the communists, and just not be involved with it. Anyways, I'm in a much better place today. I did get out walking last night in the rain. Did me wonders, absolutely wonders. And today I was able to find a print cartridge that worked for my computer, and I'm able to print. And look what I printed today. I think you'll like this. This is one of my favorite artists. It's a print I printed off an image that I had. Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was an artist back in the 1980s, and he did a very primitive, kind of modern, he was called a neo-expressionist. We're probably going to do a whole new video next week on Jean-Michel Basquiat's art, because I think he was very gifted. I think he was very spiritual. I think he was a channel. We're going to talk about that. But I just did a test print, and I actually got this painting to print. So now I got a picture of Basquiat in my house. I love it. So anyways, we'll talk about that next week, but I just want to share that with you. Well, here it is Saturday, and you know what that means? It means that we are going to have our Spiritualist Class and Seance. And for those of you who are new here, this is something we usually do every Saturday. Do a little teaching on spiritualism. Sometimes we teach from this book, the Spiritualist Manual. Sometimes we'll do a spiritualist book. Right now we're going to do a reading today from Sylvia Browne's book called Mystical Traveler. So we have a little class, and then we'll have a little seance. So what I'd say if you were in my house, which in a sense really you are, pull up your chairs here. Let's have a little circle, all right? So we're going to start back on this book. We've been reading about becoming a mystical traveler. So many of you have been writing to me saying, Psychic Bob, I feel that I'm being called to more in life. I feel like I'm being called to do some service for God and humanity. Is that possible? Could it really be? Could I be being called? Absolutely. You may well be a mystical traveler. So let's continue on talking about this today, okay? I would encourage you guys, now I'm not being endorsed by Hay House or Amazon or anybody, but I would encourage you to get this book. I'm not being endorsed by Sylvia Browne Corporation. But it's a great book. You can buy it on Amazon or eBay. Used copy like $3 or $4. Mystical Traveler. It's a hardback. It's a really nice book. I recommend it. So today we're going to continue on page 47. And this is in the chapter A Covenant with God. Sylvia writes, she says, you should never be running around telling people that you're a mystical traveler, for it is a quiet oath between you and God, and no one keeps track of it except you. Excuse me, and no one keeps track of you except you. I'd like to change the subject for a minute here to warn you about any organization, society, or church that is controlling. Once you get into such a group, it becomes a cult. I just saw an association on TV that watches what its members weigh, what they eat and what medicines they take, and where they go and what they say. Please don't walk away from something like this. Run. We're going to see these type of groups cropping up everywhere, and if there's anything close to an anti-spiritual movement, it's this. Be discerning and cautious of anyone taking over your life, your soul, taking over your life. Your soul is only between you and God and no one else. Now, let me just pause there for a second because I think this is really, really vital. You know, one of the things that's so important, a lot of people write me and they say, Psychic Bob, you know, I started going to this church and the pastor's telling me I'm not allowed to watch your videos. I actually had a letter like this. Somebody said, Pastor saw your videos and said you're evil and I must not allowed to watch your Psychic Bob's videos anymore. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. Well, I wrote to that person. I said, you know, do whatever you want to do. I don't tell you whether you watch or don't watch. But I'll tell you one thing. I said, any pastor that wants to control every minute of your life, I said, it sounds a little cultish. I said, now, if you have an internet addiction problem, that's one thing. But this person, they didn't have it. They just occasionally watched a video. And their church told them it was a sin for them to watch my videos. I said, do you like my videos? I said, yes. And I said, well, do you find anything evil or offensive in them? They said, no. I said, then you watch what you want. I'm not telling you have to watch or don't watch. But see, that's an example of somebody trying to control your life. And unfortunately, there are a lot of churches and religious organizations that will want to get in and tell you how to live every minute of your life. I knew a church once that they said that people could not date anybody who was outside the church, even if they were Christian. It was a Christian church. And I just think that sounds very cultic, you know. And I think it is. So, you know, right now, because there's a lot of instability in the world, there's a lot of upheaval. A lot of people arise during these times in history, and they try to start these cults. So be very careful of it, you know. And it's like I always say, you know, I tell people, I'm not here to control your life. You do what you want. I just hopefully help you see some things on the way that help you. All right, let's continue on. Sylvia writes, she says, that's why I'm so paranoid and repeatedly say, here it is, take with you what you want and leave the rest behind. Now that, I'm going to stop there. I say the exact same thing. Let's read it again. Take with you what you want and leave the rest behind. Okay? So that means no matter what I say, you don't have to believe it. I'm not here to say I have the gospel truth of everything in the world. No, I don't. I'm learning and growing just as much as you. And any teacher that tells you they have all the answers, I'd be really concerned about that. Sylvia writes, she says, I simply put forth truthful information as I know it to be, and you can either reject or accept it. I know that all of the teachings and philosophies I share are infused by God. I also know that the soul recognizes the truth, but it may not be ready for it. Finally, I ask that you keep in mind these words from Francine. Francine's her spirit guide, by the way. And Francine said, God is in service to us. We are in service to God. Each of us is in service to each other. That makes us whole. I like that. You may have a hard time with the first part of this sentence, but it's true. And the first part was God is in service to us. And that's interesting. Our parents give us the option of paying homage to them through our actions, In doing so, we get service and help from them. Simply put, we're never left alone by our all-loving and forgiving creators. I'm going to stop there. I think that's a lot to think about today. So, you know, what Sylvia's saying here, I think, is that we're all interconnected. We're part of God. God's part of us, and we're part of each other. So if that's true, which I believe it to be true, I think our only response to living and to love is service and to give love. So, you know, today if you're thinking about, you know, if you're being called to be a mystical traveler, ask yourself, do I want to serve, and can I serve in love? And if you feel like you're being called to serve in love, you're probably getting the calling. So anyways, we'll continue with that, but that's something to think about. A little later in this book, they give the ritual to formally become a mystical traveler. And we're going to do that later on as well. But that's something to think about. Well, guys, we're going to have our channeling seance. And trance channeling is where I go into a trance state. Now, that's spelled T-R-A-N-C, as in Charles, E, trance, not trans. And I have to say it because every week I get somebody right and said, Psychic Bob, I had no idea you were a trans person, a transgender. And there's nothing wrong with transgender people. I know a lot of wonderful ones, but I'm just not a transgender. I was born a male. I'm still a male. I'll always be a male. So no, I'm not transgendered. Trance, T-R-A-N-C-E. And so when I go into a trance state, I set aside my consciousness, and spirit guides overshadow my mind, my consciousness, and take temporary control of my body. Now, I say the word temporary because it's not possession. People say, oh my God, you're being possessed by these spirits. No, no. It's an agreement of an exchange of energy. See, possession is when an evil spirit forcefully takes over and abuses a person. Trance channeling is an agreement where you and a guide have a relationship, and you say, let's work together to help bring your message. Very, very different than possession. Okay, so what you're going to see is not possession. It may look a little strange if you've never seen channeling. You may say, what the hell, Bob's flipping out? Oh my God, somebody's possessed it. No, no, it's an agreement of connection between me and the guides. So we're going to have that. So what I want you to do is get comfortable. We got our little circle here. I'm going to bring down the lights and we'll get ready for a seance. So I'll see you back here in just 1 second. Let me bring down the lights. Hang here. Okay, now our lights are dim and I'm going to settle down and go into trance with a C. And I'll see you when I get back. Oh, there we go. Looks like we got control of the medium's vibration. Oh, well, it's so good to be back with all of you. This is Fletcher. And I tell you, there's a lot of soul glow out there today. A lot of high vibrational people are tuning in to this gathering. And we're so happy that all of you took the time to come and sit with us today. Well, I've got a few other people be wanting to speak, so I'll be stepping from the medium's body, but I'll talk to you later. This is Fletcher, over and out. When those of us from the spirit world come into the earth plane, we are reminded again of the density of the vibration in this realm. In the spirit realm, things are of a much brighter and lighter degree. The earth is a place of darkness. Now, we do not say that with judgment nor condemnation, but simple fact. There is very little on the earth that is self-luminous, quite in contrast to the spirit world, where everything is luminous in and of itself. When I first arrived in the spirit world, I was temporarily blinded by the light. My eyes had become accustomed to the dim light of purgatory. But when I passed into the higher realms of spirit, into the light, momentarily I found myself without sight, but a blazing white light crossed my eyes, so much so that I could not see. At first I panicked and I said, "I'm blind, where am I? Help, I'm blind." And I heard voices around me speaking, saying, There, Alfred. Relax, breathe deeply, and let go of your fear. You've come into the higher realms, and here it will take a little while for your eyes to grow accustomed to the light, for you have lived a long time in darkness." And it was interesting that they said that I had lived a long time in darkness, for as many of you know, the end of my earthly life was spent in addiction and self-degradation. And when I died, I did not go into the higher realms, I went into the purgatorial realms. Yes, my dears, there are purgatorial realms. In the spirit world, it is a spectrum, much like the earthly light spectrum. If you take a beam of light and pass it through a prism, what you see the 7 colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, purple. But beyond these, there are even other ranges, such as ultraviolet and infrared. It is the same makeup in the spirit world. Everything has a unique frequency and a vibration. And you, after your death, will go to the realm of spirit, to which you're most accustomed. Because I had lived a large part of my life in darkness, ignorance, and self-loathing and addiction, I went to a realm where I was surrounded by those like myself. You see, like attains like in the spirit world, and this is why we of the spirit world encourage each of you to work on raising your vibration now. On the earth, your progress is measured in leaps and bounds compared to that which you will find in the spirit world. For coming into the earth, you're given an extra measure of power, that you will have knowledge and wisdom to overcome the difficulties that come with the earth life. Every human being on the earth is given these faculties to know, to understand, to reflect. But unfortunately, many humans neglect the reflection part. They neglect the understanding and the knowing. And what they are left with is a base raw emotion from which they operate. It makes you no higher than the animals when you act from such a place. Humankind was made to be greater, to be like infinite intelligence. And when I say that, I mean God. The mind of God is ever questing, is ever present, is omniscient, is all-loving, all-wise. These are only some of the terms I would use to describe infinite intelligence. But we, and it is true, many of the world's religions say that humanity is made in the reflection of God or infinite intelligence. I can verify, as one who has crossed into the light, this is true. But if you live your life ignoring this reality, you will not find much joy when you pass. Death, unlike many people's belief, does not send you into the high ranks of heaven. You do not die and become an angel or a saint or a glorious being, unless you have earned that privilege through your life. It is said in the Spiritualist Church, it is deeds, not creeds, that lift one up into the higher realms. How you live is more important than what you believe. Belief counts for very little in the spirit world. For many people on earth profess a belief. Oh, I believe in this, I believe in that. But does their life bear out the fruit of this belief? The belief is worthless unless there are the actions that accompany it. Do you live in compassion? Do you forgive those who've hurt you? Do you have patience with the slow? Are you kind even to the unkind? If you practice such things, you become like infinite intelligence, and upon your death you shall ascend into the light. Fletcher has informed me that there are others who wish to speak, so I must be stepping from the medium's body. My name is Alfred. Greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Oh dear, it's such a blessing to be here with all of you. You know, when I come to the earth, I have to wait in the wings, as it were. I listen in on they're the guides who speak. And whenever I hear Alfred teaching of such a truth, I'm reminded of my own crossing into the spirit realm. Alfred told you the words of truth. Over here, how you live is far more important than what you believe. Humans say that they believe in this and they believe in that, they believe in God, they believe in spirits. The belief is good and well in and of itself, my dear. But you see, to know and to believe are two different things. If you live in a way that you're connected to others, you're nice to your neighbor, then your belief will match the highest reality. Alfred said it correctly, that the mind of God, infinite intelligence, has made us all in its image. And so kindness, compassion, friendship, all of these things are of the higher realms. And if you let the higher realms guide you, my dear, then you shall be blessed indeed. You know, like Alfred, I went to purgatory upon my death. Oh, you know, I was praised in the church. I gave a lot of money to the church. I said, that dear Rose, very generous lady, helped build a new annex on the church. Oh, it's true, my dears. In my day, I did do a lot. But you see, it didn't really count for much once I got to heaven. The reason why is that I didn't do it from love. I did it from vanity and self-glory, for show. Oh, I would never give an anonymous donation. No, no. I wanted my name to be known. I had plaques all over the church. Donated this, donated that, this charity drive. Oh, my dears, what I did was not bad in and of itself. In fact, no, no. The very reason that I got out of purgatory was that I did do good in the world. But they showed me, they said, Rose, you did good, but your heart was not aligned with it. Your actions and your heart must be in alignment. So if you give from your heart. It's not important that you give a lot and you don't put yourself in a bind to help another. If you have $100 left and you give 99 to the poor, you only have $1 for yourself. You're not doing anyone any good. How are you supposed to eat and maintain yourself and be present for those in need? Give what you can from your heart. It is better that you give a small amount with love than give a big amount out of compulsion or vanity, as I used to do. So if you live in that light of love, then you shall have joy. I never felt particularly happy when I would give large donations to my church. And you know why? It's because I wasn't doing it in love. I did it out of social standing, obligation. What did this get me? Nothing, my dears. So remember, it is how you give that is important, not what you give. But we do encourage you to give always from your true self, your higher self. If you spend a little bit of time in meditation and prayer, something I neglected in my own life, then when you give, you will be in alignment with what the spirit world wants you to do. And remember, for those of you who say, Rose, I don't have even a penny left at the end of the month. But my dear, don't worry. You can give your love to somebody, your time. You know how much effort does it take for us just to stop by an elderly neighbor's home and say, dear, dear, I wanted to say good day to you and let you know that I'm thinking of you. Do you think I would have ever done that in my life? No, I might have sent around one of my butlers or maids with a little fruit basket. Oh, I mean, I suppose that was nice, but it really was not sincere. And this is what I must impress upon you. Your sincerity is worth more than your gift itself. So try to do all things in love, and then you will ascend to the higher realms. Fletcher says that the medium's power is starting to wane. I do not wish to tax him, and so I shall give you this leave. Let me say before I go, remember, each day is a new opportunity. If you have a past that is checkered, don't be trapped in that. Look at it today and say, today I resolve to live in love. Today I will let the spirit world help me. And my dears, if you call upon us, certainly we shall come to you. Just say, Rose, help me, I'm having a difficult day. They'll come and help you. If you're working on getting a job, you're worried about money, let us help open the doors of opportunity. Call upon us. Say, Rose, I have an important interview. Will you help me to speak properly? And my dears, you know, I'm very much into speaking properly, so I shall help you with that as well. So what I'm trying to say, my dears, is you're not on your sojourn alone. Many of us over here in the spirit world wait for the opportunity to serve. Call out to us and we shall come to you. Fletcher says I must step from the medium's body for the power starting to fade. And I feel myself starting to fade with it. But I do thank each of you for receiving me and do call upon me. Well, Tubies, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. Thanks for being part of my channel. And I hope that today's channeling has helped you. If you enjoyed today's show, you might want to pop over to my website, psychicbob.com. Pick up my books. I have a wonderful book there, Messages from Rose. It's about my work as a trance channel, as a medium, and some of my adventures. I have other books there, Ouija Mysteries. We've got Psychic Bob's Book of Spells, Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom, and there are a few others over there. But check out my website, psychicbob.com. Now listen, I still have a few openings for this upcoming week. If you want to get on my schedule for a private reading with me. A private reading is you and me one-on-one for an hour, and we'll cover everything. Past, present, future issues, spirit guides, messages from deceased loved ones, past life information, karmic links, what your mission is, all of that and more. And I answer all of your questions. So if you want to sit down with Psychic Bob for a full hour, we can do that by Skype or by phone. Give me a call. 703-825-3929 is my office number. Please call me. Or you can write to me at my email, readings@robert-hickman.com. That link will be below as well. But check out my links, phone number, email, website, all below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging with me. Oh, tomorrow is Sunday, and that's the witching hour. Hopefully, now I've been having technical problems with broadcasting, so just be here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 1 a.m. London time, 2 a.m. Paris and German time. Germany time. And we'll have the show, hopefully. If we run into problems and can't broadcast, then it'll be canceled. But hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. Let's say a prayer to the spirit world and hope that we can have a show tomorrow night for Sunday for the witching hour. You guys are best. Thanks for being here. I love you. We'll see you back here then. Until then, may you all always blessed be.